Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Motorcycle Rewind. And today we're back with the 1983 Kawasaki GPZ1100 and a compression tester. Because everybody wants to know, what's the compression on this engine? We're gonna find out. So let me give you a little history of this engine, just so before we do the compression test, just so you know. 1983 Kawasaki GPZ1100 that I got for free because it was abandoned. It had been abandoned outdoors for about 10 years. The engine was seized, we freed up the engine, and then we got it running. We didn't take it apart. The only thing we added to this engine to make it run was a coil for 2 and 3 and spark plugs. Cleaned the throttle body and then made it run. We did not take this engine apart. And then we decided to ride it 3,000 miles from Slidell, Louisiana to Erie, Colorado. That's what we did. So now we're gonna test the compression just so we see where we are. Okay guys, here are the spark plugs that we took out. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see looking at these, they do look a little rich, but I did run loads of injector cleaner through it. And it's gotten better since then, meaning when I checked them a couple of weeks ago before I rode it back and forth to New Orleans, they were much darker. And so it's kind of cleaning itself out. We're gonna put new spark plugs in today. Okay, cylinder number 1, wide open throttle. Let's see, where are we at? About 60 PSI. Cylinder number 2, wide open throttle. Looks like about 70. Was that about where the other one was? I don't know, I was looking across the motorcycle. Okay, this is cylinder number 3, wide open throttle, and let's punch the button. About the same, about 70. Cylinder number 4, wide open throttle, punching the button. Looks like we're about 70. So guys, there you have it. A successful compression test. Well, we completed a compression test on the 1983 Kawasaki GPZ1100, and the good thing is that it was pretty balanced all the way across. Like they were relatively the same from 1 to 4, which is awesome. Was it low? Yeah. How low? I don't really know because I'm not sure what the factory compression was. I'll see if I can find that out and I'll post it in the comments down below. So the other question is it low for a 40-year-old motorcycle? Is it low for a 40-year-old engine? What's the normal compression drop? Now, is it low for a 40-year-old motorcycle that was left outdoors without spark plugs for years? I think the last case, I think it may be high, but it still functions, it still works. We will be doing, later on this year in the winter, we will be doing a top-end refresh. To be honest, I'm never gonna ride this thing the way it was intended to be ridden. It's got a speedo that goes up to 160. There's no way I want to get past the middle. What do you think? I think a top end refresh just for the health of the engine, I think we're going to do. And then when we pull off the top end, we'll be able to look inside and see what at the connecting rods and all that and see what it looks like. Does the whole thing need to come apart? I don't know. And guys, 100% clear, I am not an expert. I'm a guy that ended up with a free motorcycle and put it together. I'm a guy in his garage that just enjoys putting these things back together. The other thing, you know, we started this channel, Motorcycle Rewind, a little over a year ago. And the main reason why I started the channel is my wife said, you're in there talking to yourself anyway, so why not record it? The other one is that we had our grandson. He's 3 years old now. This is his motorcycle, little Kawasaki MT1B. both of my grandfathers died when I was early. One died before I was born, the other one died soon after I was born. So I never had that, hey, let's go hang out in the garage with Pops and see what's going on. I never had that. And so I wanted to kind of document those things for Jackson and our other grandchildren that we'll have over time, that they could have that. And the other thing, right around the same time as Jackson was born, this guy up here, who I called Yoda, his name's Howard Doris, was my motorcycle Yoda. He was my one of my best friends, and he had just recently passed away. And this is a guy that knew everything about everything. If he didn't have the part, he would make it. Or the old farmer mentality is the way I look at it. They just make it work, just make it happen. And oh, you got it, okay. Now you don't have to go to the motorcycle store. You can go to the hardware store and find something to make it work. So that was him, and he had just passed away. And around the same time Jackson was born, and we needed, the thing I miss most about him are his stories. All the motorcycle stories and all that stuff. And so I was thinking, Carrie saying, hey, you should, because you're in there talking to yourself anyway. Jackson's been born, and then Howard died, and it was just like, if we don't keep telling these stories, then where do they go? So somebody has to tell these stories moving forward. Not that I'm an expert at this stuff. I am 100% not an expert. But what I am is a guy that's willing to give it a go. I'm willing to try it, willing to do something with regards to that. I'll give you an example. It's this 1975 Moto Guzzi 850T. You know, my wife and I made this seat. Are we upholsterers? No. Do we own a sewing machine? Yes. Are we willing to give it a go? Yes. Is it the best seat in the world? It's the best seat we made that day. And you know what? Once you put a butt on it, it is perfect. So that's kind of